New Madrid Seismic Zone and Volcanism. Stunning evidence of a Caldera volcano in Arkansas. We're going to see that it has hot springs. We're going to see that there are other volcanoes in the area as well. We've had a magnitude 3 earthquake in Oklahoma in the area of the New Madrid Seismic Zone, which, as we know, should be called New Madrid Rift Valley. It intersects here with that black line, which is the Real Foot Rift, and it goes all the way up. That crack is the second longest crack in the U.S., going all the way up towards Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, past Ottawa, Montreal, through the St. Lawrence River, where we had another quake just today. That was a 3.3 magnitude, whereas the one in Oklahoma was 3 magnitude, Holdenville, Oklahoma. So we've had a tremendous amount of, it seems like it's an uptick of earthquakes in the New Madrid Seismic Zone area, and it happens to be on this crack that extends from Seattle all the way down to New Madrid. And let's take a look at what we found concerning the stunning evidence of a Caldera volcano in Arkansas. And we have to take a look at what they found in Wikipedia. There is something there, Hot Springs, Arkansas. They call it Hot Springs because they had hot springs there since the time of the settlers. Kappa Bathhouse Hot Springs, famed Bathhouse Row. There's a number of bathhouses there. It was discovered by the settlers. Members of many Native American tribes were gathered in the valley for untold numbers of years to enjoy the healing properties of these thermal springs in Arkansas. So wherever you have thermal springs, of course, you have magma chambers underneath. You have volcanoes nearby. In 1673, Father Marquette and Joliet explored the area, claiming it for France. In December 1804, Dr. George Hunter William Dunbar made an expedition to the springs, finding a lone log cabin and a few shelters used by the people visiting the springs for their healing properties. August 24, 1818, Kappa Indians ceded the land around the hot springs to the United States in a treaty after Arkansas became its own territory. All right, now we have the bathhouse and hot springs there. So that's evidence. And there has been some people that have been wondering what kind of geology is there because of all these earthquakes. And we know that we have, wherever we have rivers, especially the faults and the rift zones, we may have volcanoes as well. And they have found them, the hot springs here. This is from Godlike Productions. It's on BBS Radio. And he said, this is an old article, but I found it's very interesting. They wanted to understand where the causes of these earthquakes were. The increase in Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Tennessee. And they were not all fracking. Some may be, but not all of them. So they were studying the geology of the region, and they noticed something interesting, that there's a pattern starting to form suggesting that the recent earthquakes are a result of increased volcanic activity. Now, we may be thinking, if there were volcanoes in Arkansas, we would know about it. But they're, although unproven, highly speculative, the following information shows the evidence of active volcanism in Arkansas. First of all, we point to the Hot Springs National Park in Little Rock, south of Little Rock. The hot springs are located above the western edge of the large Pluton, which is an igneous intrusion with an upper surface about 4,000 feet below land surface that extends eastward from an igneous outcrop near Magnet Cove. Birdfelder suggests that the meteoric water percolates through a fracture zone location unspecified, associated with the margin of the Pluton, and then because of the heat source is unknown, either takes in heat from the Pluton, percolates below the Pluton to depths of about 8,000 to 12,500 feet, and takes in heat, or percolates below the Pluton to a lesser depth and takes in heat from underlying magma. The Big Fork Chert and the Arkansas Nova Colite outcrop areas, which might serve as recharge areas, primarily lie north and northwest of the hot springs, and this area is teeming with evidence of volcanic activity. One example is called Magnet Cove. It consists only of igneous rocks which can only be formed by volcanic activity. Magnet Cove is a 100 million year old igneous intrusion, massive igneous rock that is, of some rare and unusual rock types. They're all derived from a melt that was originally a carbon dioxide-rich basaltic liquid in the Earth's upper mantle. The intrusion's piercing style resulted in a steep, near vertical contact with the country host rock, which is Paleozoic shales and novaculite. It's likely that the intrusion never reached the surface. Only one geologist in the 1930s described anything like a vent. It's probable that it's what he described, though volcaniclastic in appearance. It was a steep-walled breccia pipe or explosion zone that has been noted in the smaller pipe at Potash Sulphur Springs. Magnet Cove is a type of ring complex or ring dike found commonly at the center of a volcano. Next, there is the Potash Sulphur Springs, which also contains uranium. Arkansas's Uranium 1. In Arkansas, several uranium anomalies were discovered during the 1950s. The Potash Sulphur Springs igneous intrusion in Garland County is probably the best known and perhaps the first site where uranium was discovered in Arkansas. Novaculite is also found in the hot springs area. Novaculite is the rarest and finest abrasive stone in existence. This mineral is only found in two places in the world, Arkansas and the Marathon Uplift in West Texas, according to Wikipedia. Finally, the strangest place in this volcanic area is called Hell's Half Acre. It's a small area of land in the middle of the forest where nothing can grow, and animals, even hunting dogs, will avoid it. Hell's Half Acre. Apparently, it is believed that the devil lives down there, and notice that the trees surrounding the area are all dead in the pictures, and this suggests some kind of activity is producing something very toxic. And here's the picture of it, as you can see. This is an old picture. The Arkansas Folklore Legend, the Anthology of Tradition by Leslie Speller states, many places are said to be cursed or damned. One such place is called Hell's Half Acre. Another in the same area is an unbelievably deep hole in the earth which seems almost endless. What does that sound like to you? Lava too, perhaps. In this one, the hole is a bottomless pit created to house a demon which is chained within it. It's said that hunters caught after dark have heard this groans of pain and shrieks of savage profanity. Naturally, the place is greatly avoided after nightfall. Legend goes, Hell's Half Acre in Hot Springs, Arkansas, just 1/4 mile of Mill Creek Road. Okay, so that's a legend, as you can see. Geologists acknowledge this as a natural formation, but deny that it was once a volcano. But what heats the thermal hot springs in Spa City nearby then? One expert, Scott Rowland, claims that the problem is how to get water circulating down to the region of heat and back again. This can be accomplished with ancient fractures left over from continental collisions, failed rifts, etc. My guess is that in the hot springs region there is some sort of ancient fracture in the North American plate, which allows for the water circulation. So could Hell's half-acre hold the secrets to an area ready for an earthquake or a volcanic eruption? No one knows except for maybe the devil himself, it says here. Now, I don't know when this thing was written. It doesn't say. A picture courtesy of FC Boving Publishing. Looks pretty old. Looks as if it's very old and false coloring. It doesn't say. Okay, but I'll leave a link below for you for this. So there you go. As far as Hell's half-acre is concerned. More evidence of the volcano lies in the northeast corner of the state, thus directly connected to the New Madrid seismic zone, the New Madrid fault, called Crowley's Ridge. The ridge is primarily composed of sediment as loess. It contrasts greatly with the flat table and around it, and with the black soil that makes up the delta, and it varies from half a mile to 12 miles width and reaches an elevation of 550 feet near its northern extremity. There is evidence that the area's elevation has increased over the years, which suggests that uplift took place and is still taking place. It's deforming, it's rising, so something is obviously underneath making it rise. This alternative explanation posits the link between the ridge and the nearby New Madrid seismic zone. Since there is evidence that the area is still rising in elevation, it may be the ridge to the caldera. If the magma is rich in silica, the caldera is often filled in with ignimbrite, tuff, rhyolite, and other igneous rocks. Silica-rich magma does have a high viscosity and therefore does not flow easily like basalt, and as a result, gases tend to become trapped at high pressure within the magma. When the magma approaches the surface of the Earth, the rapid offloading of overlying material causes the trapped gas to decompress rapidly, thus triggering explosive destruction of magma, spreading volcanic ash over the wide areas. There's a type of lava and explosive calderas called Further lava flows may be erupted. If volcanic activity continues, the center of the caldera may be uplifted in the form of a resurgent dome. Arkansas ranks first in production silica, producing 1/2 of the world's supply. I didn't even know that. This site from USGS states that Arkansas's delta slope west towards the Mississippi River and south towards the Gulf of Mexico at a rate of 1/2 foot per mile. The land surface generally slopes towards Mississippi River from both the eastern and north and western sides of the study unit and to the south towards the Gulf of Mexico. And that means it's going towards the Jackson volcano. We're going to see that on Google Earth just in a minute. Now, so far, facts show that we have a ridge, a dome-like valley sloping east, west, and north and south, and the most silica in the world. Not to mention, much of Arkansas is in a rift valley. All of this points to the area being an explosive caldera. Now let's take a look at that on Google Earth. This is Seattle, and this is where we had our 6.3 magnitude earthquake just a few hours ago. And this is Ridgecrest here. This is Yellowstone that I've pinned right here, and this is the giant crack running all the way from Seattle all the way through to right here, New Madrid seismic zone at New Madrid, Missouri. And this is the other real foot rift, which is the Rift Valley. This should be the New Madrid Rift Valley, actually. And this is the crack that goes all the way this way. We've even had a 3.3 magnitude right here, south of Montreal. And this line, this crack is just goes east of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. It flanks Ottawa, Montreal, and goes out to St. Lawrence River, St. Lawrence Seaway, and this is where we had our 3.3 quake today. And let's just take a look at that, okay, together. right here. This is it. In one glance, the 6.3. The, all right, this is Oklahoma, 3 magnitude, and this is the Baie St. Paul in Canada, 3.3 magnitude. All right, and here we have our New Madrid seismic zone. What was this? Tennessee, okay. All right, this is a failed rift valley, but it's also, I believe, the pressure coming in from this crack, which we saw. It's a crack, it's a real crack. You can see it very clearly, does hit in these areas, which are fault lines, very huge fault lines, fault system in a rift valley that was about to break off millions of years ago, but didn't. It's a failed rift valley. Otherwise, it would have, if it was successful, it would have the ocean from the Gulf of Mexico to Canada. St. Lawrence River would be actually, the east coast would be a peninsula of some type. So let's go now. We're going in. This is Arkansas Hot Springs, right there, which indicates a volcano because, as we said, of its dome structure, also the fact that it produces so much uranium and producing 1/2 of the world's supply of production of silica. And let's go. Okay, we have that there. Hot springs, wherever you have hot springs. We saw them even in England, all these hot springs and baths and Leamington Spa and Bath and all these things because they have volcanoes there. England is full of volcanoes. And this is Jackson, Mississippi. I'm going to show, let's just pull out to show the river, Mississippi River. All of this here, of course, is the crack going all the way up through Canada. All right, this is the Real Foot Rift, and this is New Madrid right there, where that other crack ends, right there. And they intersect. And we have a T-shaped type of formation with the earthquakes going on. Let's go here. That's another volcano. And we have the asphalt volcanoes all down here. All these things are asphalt volcanoes. They first found them, I think, in 2004. I'm sure if they look around the other parts of the earth, they'll find more, but this is the first place they found them. They're full of asphalt. Basically, a type of a very mushy type of a tar, okay? Here we go. Let's go in. This here, Jackson, Mississippi volcano. That's another volcano. And the Colosseum is built right on top of the dome of the volcano. The Colosseum is on the volcano. There it is. That's right on top of the volcano. Now, for the life of me, I have no idea how anyone could allow engineers not only to build near fault lines, but to place a public building, a building that can house thousands of people, if not tens of thousands of people, over a volcano. That's amazing. So you have volcanoes here, yes you do, right there on the Mississippi River. Okay, and you have the other one that we found, hot springs right there in Arkansas, since antiquity. And if we look into every other state, I'm sure we'll find a lot more. Wherever you have hot springs, you're going to have volcanoes. You're going to have magma underneath, heating things up. So that's something else we learned today. We keep learning things every few days, which is notches on our belts for what's going on. And, you know, God bless the United States. It's full of minerals, hot springs, volcanic locations, Okay, and I'll leave links below for you for this. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.